Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of a fascinating young man. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. As you know, the Her Story Circle covers a whole range of stories. And my guest today is not a woman, but a young man based here in Melbourne, Australia, whose story has really moved my heart and my soul. And I decided to bring him on so he can share his story and we can unpack the issues that most South Sudanese people experience living here in Australia. So welcome to the show. Please tell everybody your full name and share your story with us today.
Thank you, Gertrude, for having me this morning. And to the viewers of this podcast, my name is Mawien Ariik. I'm South Sudanese born, but I currently call Melbourne home for the last few years. I was born in South Sudan, but I've been in numerous countries. To start, my journey is a very long journey. Start as a little 8-year-old boy. Imagine what you would be doing as an 8-year-old boy or a girl. At that age is the age you are thinking about what you're going to do as a child, not thinking as a responsible, child looking after yourself. I was 8 years old when I was displaced from my country of birth, alone in a foreign country, and I end up in different countries where I took refuge. The war of Sudan took over 30 years, over 2 million people dead. I happened to be one of the victims who lost a father in that civil war. After losing my father at the age of 8, I became fatherless, and my mother at a different part of the country of South Sudan. So I end up in the Uganda border. This is where I was looked after by a few adults that were a bit older than me. We called that group some of the Lost Boys. We're all scattered across Africa. Uganda, there was some Lost Boys there. Some Lost Boys were in Ethiopia, some were in Kenya. I escaped the border of Uganda, made it to border of Kenya. We nearly got attacked by LRA, which is a Lord Resistance Movement in Uganda. We nearly missed being attacked on the border, and God, thank God, we made it to the border of Kenya. This is where I end up in the refugee camps after my father killing. We stayed in Kakuma. Kakuma was a very, very, very difficult place to be in. For those who know Kakuma, very dusty. It rained once or twice a year. This was what we call home. Over 25,000 Lost Boys end up in the refugee camp, one of the largest refugee camps in the world. Life as a refugee, for those of you who have lived a refugee life, was a difficult life. Life where you're only looked after by the UN. There's no other option. Every fortnight, we are given a small ration of food. And to get that ration is a difficult journey as well. You will need to wake up every fortnight to go to the ration center, distribution center. This is whereby you have to line up as early as 3, 4 a.m. in the morning before the ration center opens in the morning. If you don't go early, you may not come back with your food. This is the life we lived. As a young boy, we used to go and do the cooking at home. We used to do the cleaning and wash the clothes of the older youth. But the older youth would go to the ration center to get the food for us, go look for the firewood. It's a journey that was ever difficult. Fortunately enough, US opened the doors to take a few of the thousands of the Lost Boys. About 17,000 of them were in the Kakuma, and a few of them made it to US. But since September 11 happened, US shut the doors. So we were stranded again in Kakuma. Many of us were there. Life was not ever easy. After that, after US, Australia opened the doors, whereby communities in Australia here send application form to the Kakuma, and these forms were distributed among communities. And if you're lucky enough to be accepted, then you make your way to Australia. I was rejected 2 times, not knowing, my case officer just filling my application form, not knowing the detail they put in there. And I was rejected 2 times. And fortunately enough, I was accepted to come to Australia. As a 15-year-old boy, resettled in Australia here. Life was not easy. Being in a foreign country whereby everybody speaks English, language was a difficulty. I was isolated within community housing flats where I was living by myself there. Life was not ever easy. Challenges of language, challenges of stereotyping was very, very difficult, and you don't know how to navigate. You don't have any networks of families. Having arrived here with only support that I have as a community, it was not easy. It was difficult. But what I did was to be strong. Now I'm in a foreign country whereby I have safety. I'm safe. I don't have any risk of any violence or war breaking out again. So I tend to put my head down and focus on my education. And fortunately enough, I was given a scholarship in Nanawading Christian College, whereby I was fully supported with my education through high school. And this journey, changed my life. Being sponsored in one of the private schools, it gave me more hope, wanting to do more and succeed, because that sponsorship, I took it very highly to do my best in whatever I do in education fields. And through that scholarship, I tend to brush up my study skills and did really, really well in my high school. And this high school result gave me my first job, having worked at McDonald's jobs. That was my first job at McDonald's. And then through McDonald's, I built networks with a local branch manager that was next door to the McDonald's I used to work in. And through that networks, I secured my first banking job as a relieving officer, which was a jackpot for me, having to work for one of the Australian banks. Nothing was ever exciting than having to work in the banking sector in Australia. I was so proud of myself. I told the community, I went really viral in the community that I got my first job. And I believe if I'm not the first South Sudanese, I could be the second South Sudanese to get a job in the banking sector in Australia, which was an excitement. And this motivates and elevate more of our young people to inspire that they can do what other people are doing here in terms of jobs. So years later, a few more joined the banking sector through different programs, NAV, African Given a Chance program, ANZ inclusion programs, so that got a few young Africans into the banking sector. But my employment was directly to the bank, which I was very, very excited about. Challenges were there in all what you do, whether it's studies or whether it's work, there's always challenges. Challenges to do with racial profiling, it's always happened. Challenges to do with racism, it's always happened. But being here, my mission was to do my absolute best in whatever I do, regardless of all the distractions that try to distract me from my vision. My vision was to finish my schooling. My vision was to be able to set up an enterprise that will help my local people to give back to the community my father fought for. That has always been my vision. And I achieved my educational journey. And then I found a small entity called South Sudanese Health Matters, with the aim of looking to empower more girls in Africa, in my village where I was born, to be able to support them, whether on their health need to do with sanitary arrangements, whether on their educational journeys. I wanted to empower more of those girls to go to school. And also now working on a bigger medical center project, looking to build a medical facility in my village where I was born, to be able to cater for that local population, which is estimated to be around 360,000. Thank you.
What an incredible journey you've been on. When you and I met, our meeting was sparked by a recent event here in Melbourne, the killing of those two South Sudanese boys. One was 12 years old, the other one was 15 years old. And I reached out to you on LinkedIn because I was part of a group of other African people in the community concerned and wanting to reach out and see how we could support and help. And I'm really happy that you agreed to do this podcast, because it's important for us to unpack what the community has been going through. Now, your journey from refugee camps to becoming a finance manager, founder of a nonprofit, is absolutely remarkable. Can you share how your early experiences shaped your drive and your resilience?
Thank you, Gertrude. My early life was not a pleasant one. I lost my father at the age of 8. And at that age, what you'll be doing is you'll be a child playing on the streets. But for me, it's as the oldest child in the family, I took that journey to be an adult at that age. The last time I saw my father, when he left to go to the battle, and he never returned. His death stayed in my mind as a little boy and made me strong, and always wanted to do good for the people my father fought for. I always believe my father fought for me to be free and to be safe, as well as to empower other people of the community. So I always strive to remain positive in life. No matter more of the challenges that I face, I remain to be positive, and wanted to make my father proud, though he's not going to say it. I want to make him proud.
That's just amazing. Now, what inspired you to establish the South Sudanese Health Matters, Inc., and to dedicate yourself to improving healthcare in Mawien Ariik?
Thank you, Gertrude, again. Mawien Ariik is where I was born. My family still lives there, including my mother and my siblings still live in the village. And this village is a village that is isolated by floods, often blocked access to medical needs. Right now, no one can go to my village by car or any other means of transport. The only means you can get there right now is by walking on foot. When my grandfather was ill as well, and the villagers had to carry him through muddy waters for hours and hours to get help, I saw firsthand how serious the problem was. This experience and seeing the impact on my people motivated me to start SHMI, to be able to provide basic necessities and basic needs on health.
Oh, that's inspirational. Now, your successful career in banking, how did your professional experience in finance support your ability to lead a nonprofit initiative?
My professional experience has so many skill sets that I can carry on to the charity lens. Meeting compliance and maintaining commitment in terms of timelines and compliance requirements in my current job as a finance manager. These are some of the skills that I carry on to my charity. Managing responsibility in both the charity sector and demanding jobs present a significant challenge. I'm fortunate that many of skills developed through my banking career are applicable to my current role, and they are helping me to actually uplift this charity.
That is fantastic. Now, your father's legacy of service and sacrifice clearly drives your work. What values did you inherit from him that guide you today?
My father was known as a man of the people who loved everybody with an open heart and had a great sense and care for others. People always remind me that I've got characteristics of my late father, and it makes me happy every time people say that. The value of hard work, giving, and serve for others are highly ingrained in me. And this is what I look after my father, and people are telling me that I envisage those characteristics, and I would love to carry on those characteristics.
It sounds to me like you were born in a family full of leaders. Your grandfather was a chief. Your father was in the army, fighting for freedom for his people. So what are the biggest challenges that you faced in launching the nonprofit? and how did you overcome them?
Since launching SSMI, which is South Sudan's Health Matters, securing Australian Charity Commission and DGR status, which is tax deductible recipient status, was a very major hurdle for us. But with the help from a law firm called Mentor Ellison, we achieved this status, which is a difficult status for any charity to achieve.
Yeah.
However, we continue to face challenges in obtaining sufficient fundings and grants for our operations, as well as recruiting volunteers. These three key areas still remain a big challenge for us, and it makes it hard for us to achieve our goals and operation activities.
That's fantastic. So how did you mobilize both South Sudanese diaspora and the Australian community to support your projects?
Thank you again. Good to having come from African background. We feel the sense of relation, we relate. So for me, mobilizing South Sudanese and African community in general was quite easy, as part of their heart is still in Africa. Therefore, they are always willing to support any project making a difference in Africa. Like, we have connected here from that sort of background from the continent, which is always, our heart is always here and there as well.
Yeah.
However, mobilizing Australian community was more challenging, and I've been fortunate to be a member of a Rotary Club or Rotary community in general. Without their support, the delivery of a menstrual hygiene project would have been more difficult. As we held a Taste of Africa in early 2024, this was a successful Taste of Africa dinner in bringing communities together to raise funds. However, tapping into the mainstream Australian community remained a challenge. But through Rotary networks, I got a little connection through the Rotary community, but this space remained a challenge to get more people involved.
That is amazing. Now, education and sanitation for girls are central to your mission. A lot of young girls in Africa don't get to go to school, especially when they have a period. Sometimes girls' education is sacrificed for boys. Why is this such an important focus for your work?
Thank you, Gertrude. So really understanding about women's health in general started when I got married. So I learned more about women's health through my wife. This is how I get to understand what they go through on their daily lives, And it came in my mind, empowering girls or women is empowering the whole community. Girls' education is not a priority in South Sudan and many other countries of the world. And I wanted to be a priority for my charity, because girls don't get the support that their young men get. And the training we provided for them in the village for the menstrual hygiene project, it helped with three areas. It'll help restore dignity, self-esteem for the participant. It educated them about menstrual hygiene and women's health in general. And it helped reduce the rates of school absenteeism, which was a really wonderful achievement. Now, we want to see more girls go to school, with a potential to support more girls into the future by providing scholarship as our hope.
Now, you've distributed thousands of menstrual hygiene kits in your community. What impact have you seen on the lives of girls and young women in your village because of this initiative?
There was a lot of activities that a lot of activities that we've seen to happen at school. The enrollment for the girls has increased in all the schools we supported. Positive talks and appreciation in the village about the work we do. And they're always asking us, when are you going to do more and more? A lot of girls feel very empowered and have sense of hope with our support. The school absenteeism and dropout rates have reduced as well. We've seen that reduce a little bit due to the support we provided, and we hope to have more of this happening into the future as well.
That's wonderful. So how do you balance your professional career in banking with your leadership role in your nonprofit and your volunteer work with Rotary?
Getting the right balance can be very, very difficult, Gertrude. Often the demands of my day job means that I'm unable to respond to issues that have arisen during the day with the charity until sometime late evenings. I'm grateful for my dedicated team of volunteers whose diverse leadership ensure progress when I'm away on my day job. Their time and efforts help keep SHMI, which is South Sudan's Health Matters, running and let me work during the day. At this time, I have not contributed as much as time to my Rotary group as I would have liked
Okay.
due to time limitation, but it's something that I look to do more of it into the future if time allows.
That's wonderful. Now, Rotary has supported your project significantly. What role has Rotary played in helping you to expand your impact, do you think?
Rotary early support was crucial for SHMI because the founding board members, some are Rotarians. So this enabled
Okay.
us to launch the menstrual hygiene project and boosting our credibility. We use a rogue system for donation. At the time, we didn't have the tax deductible recipient. So we
Right.
used rogues for people to donate to support our menstrual hygiene project.
Mhm.
Though Rotary has helped expand our impact since, we've had preliminary discussion about the clinics with Rotary clubs in Melbourne and South Sudan, and hope to involve them when planning the clinic fit out. That's where we're looking to involve them. This is
Okay.
where the area of Rotary can fit in as well. So it's some conversations happening at the moment.
That's wonderful. Now, you often speak about legacy. What legacy do you hope to leave through your professional and humanitarian work?
Thank you, Gertrude. Legacy has two fronts in my mind. I hope to leave a legacy defined by meaningful impact both in my professional career and also in the humanitarian efforts. Professionally, I want to be remembered as a leader who has worked with integrity, inspires others, and contribute to building systems and solutions that truly made a difference. That's in terms of professional aspect. On the
Right.
humanitarian side, I want to be known as someone who has helped members of my community, the Lower Ariik community, and local communities to overcome challenges they continue to face in their daily life and to create more better and sustainable futures for them by providing education,
Yes.
healthcare, clean water, and to address the root cause of inequality and poverty that they face in their daily lives. And in terms of inspiring others, I always wanted to inspire others to take action, give back
Yeah.
to their communities by dedicating their time, skills, and resources to meaningful causes and ensure that the value of compassion and service continue to be passed on. Then that will be something that will make me very happy as we, keep passing on the kindness.
That's wonderful. Now, what role does mentorship play in your journey, both as a mentee and a mentor for others? Especially now when we look at the perception, the negative perception that people have about South Sudanese people, particularly South Sudanese youth and young boys.
I'm a beneficiary of being a mentor. I have been mentored in my life, and I've mentored people in my life. Mentorship has been vital to my personal and professional growth. As a
Okay.
mentee, I've learned from those who guided me through challenges and helped me realize my potential. Their support pushed me to grow and stay true to my values.
Yeah.
As a mentor, I see it as a privilege to help others by sharing my experiences and guiding them. It is rewarding to watch others grow, knowing I played a part in their journey. So this is an area I would encourage people to get involved both ways, whether a mentor or a mentee, as there's a two-way benefit in this front.
So, can you share a story of a moment in your work where you felt most proud or deeply moved by the impact that you are making?
Honestly, I will share a professional story. One of my proudest moments was when a customer emailed my manager and responded to a feedback survey at 2 a.m. in the morning, just to personally give me thanks with a high rating of my customer service. They even said that they would hire me if I needed a job. Moment like this, what truly highlights the impact of building strong relationships and delivering exceptional customer service. And he wrote like nearly a page just to appreciate the effort that I've of my customer service. And this is a proud moment of my job and what made me go to my job every day.
That's wonderful. Now, I know you said to me the other day when we were talking that your network, the people around you, help you, move further in life. What advice would you give to young people from the refugee or immigrant backgrounds who want to give back to their communities and to grow?
My advice to young people from a refugee background or migrant background who want to give back is this: nothing is more rewarding than giving to the community that has supported us.
Yeah.
Remember, communities play a vital role in our lives, whether it's overseas or over here. So it's important to pass on kindness and help others just as you were helped. By doing so, you create a cycle of generosity that
Yes.
strengthens everybody. And this is what makes us who we are, because we are a community. We are interconnected. And that's what makes the success and make the community we live in.
I love it. Now, as a role model, you are an example of what success can look like for people from the refugee community. You worked hard, you were studious in school, you went to university, you're now a manager in a major bank. Why is it important for our young people to see people like you in the community succeeding?
You need to have someone you look up to. For me, in my early years, I looked at my father. That history of his death is what is in my forefront. But I feel like now we have many African background or diverse background in different sectors that have excelled really, really well. So it is really, really important to find ways of how you can connect with these people. Whether it's these people that have excelled in their roles in Australia that can find these people that need some support or mentorship. Yes. We need to find them, or the mentees need to find us and have that connection and be able to share experiences, the journeys. Because navigating employment aspect in a foreign country can be very difficult. But someone has been through that journey. They can share with you that journey, whether it's to do with the preparation for job interview or the preparation to do with the job application, or preparation how you can actually make it to sustain your job. Some of the insight that people that have been, excelling their careers can actually share. And I feel this is where there is need to be a connector to bring these people together and be able to inspire one another, because young person can inspire, a career-driven, mature man or a lady as well. They all have things to share, and we can learn from one another.
I love it. Now, in terms of changing the stereotype that is out there around South Sudanese youth, a lot of people thought that the murders of these two young men was instigated within the South Sudanese community, and that's not true. The media has highlighted these stories with a very negative lens. We have lost two young boys in the African community. If these children had been European or any other race, the media would have been all over this. What can we do about the media telling the true stories of what is happening to our youth in Melbourne?
I think some people view this as a South Sudanese issue or view this as an African issue, but this is something that is wider. It's an issue that we all have to stand up for as Australian community in general. And I feel like stigmatizing an issue that is actually, need to be highlighted and, and reported accurately. The way it's been portrayed by the media is portrayed that even though those two young men were murdered, it has been portrayed negatively without remorse, and that's where media need to show some remorse. And people also, as a community of an Australian community in general, there's a saying that says, if you are quiet, don't say nothing, and someone said something that is negative and you keep quiet, you are both making the same impact. So it is up to us as Australian community to stand up for things that are not quite right. Because the way the media, I've been reading the comment and they are very disgusting. Having murdered two young boys, lost two young boys that haven't been grow up in their teenage years, it was really shocking. And I feel like as a community of Australia, now I'm an Australian. I'm African background, but I'm Australian. We are all Australian of different background where we come from, but we need to know that we need to live together because this is our home as well. And if it's our home, the issues that young people face out there are all our collective issues, and they are all our collective responsibilities. And the media portrayal need to show not only the negative aspect, but to reflect the true story. The murders of those kids were not even South Sudanese. They're all from different nationalities, different mix of nationalities. But no South Sudanese in the murderers that murdered these two kids. So really, we need to think about how we can actually bring these communities together, and we look at it as one issue that we face as Victorians, not as a single community.
Now let's talk about collective responsibility. How can ordinary people outside the South Sudanese community contribute to the change that you're driving?
When you are trying to help a community, you need to involve a community.
Yeah.
To involve a community, there's so many ways you can involve them. Kids have touch points. There's a school touch points.
Yes.
There is parent touch points. And there is social services or social social services providers, also touch points. There need to be a collaboration with the communities to involve people in those sectors, whereby we can look at different perspectives and have that understanding from the parents, from the children, and from the community's perspective, and come up with a community-led solution. This will help us in terms of overcoming these issues that we face, because these issues start from home. They go to school and they go out in the community. But if we have touch point in all these areas, there's a lot of young South Sudanese, young African men or girls that are graduated from universities, but they can't find jobs. So there are areas that are, that we need to have them employed in, that can help the community in general, which is very, very important for the community, because there's a sense of belonging, sense of understanding that's required. For that to happen, then it needs a collective responsibility from employers, from the government, from social service providers, and this will open all the avenues, of having a solution.
I love it. So let's talk about the future. Looking ahead 10 years from now, I know you have young children growing up here in Australia. I know you have your vision for the work that you're doing through the South Sudanese Health Matters, Inc. What is your vision for the future for the South Sudanese community?
I'll probably say there's two ways that I can look at it. So for my charity, I operate, I'm based here, operate in Africa. 10 years from now, I want to see a significant improvement in health of the people of my village. And I wanted to see a fully operational medical center that is accessible to all. And I envisage to potentially set up, a vocational training center and a first secondary school in the area that will help support the local people there. In here in Australia, in terms of, from 10 years from now, these young people that are being murdered, these young people that are getting all these criminal records are the future.
Yeah.
And if they are the future, there's a need for an action to be taken now to be able to prevent more young people from dying, to be able to prevent more young people from getting into criminal records, so we can build a future for our kids. 10 years from now, we're going to be very close to, retirement age. Our first generation South African or South Sudanese will be going to retirement. 10 years, 20 years, will be going to retirement. Then what is next? Next generation need to come up and take up, go into the systems. And if we don't prepare for them to go in the system, then nothing will ever change. We'll remain with the community of having a lot of criminals. And those criminals will not excel in their careers. So there's a need for us to take action now and support these young families, young kids, and give them a hope for the future.
So how can businesses, different organizations support the South Sudanese youth in Melbourne, especially when it comes to looking for opportunities, mentorship, employment?
I think there's a 3 or 4 way street that we need to look at it. That we need. Sometimes government departments think this is the way it has to be done.
Yeah.
And things like the issues we're facing now need a collective approach. So bringing together business community, these young people, community leaders, government coming together, and finding pathways for these people. These young people have different career paths. Some want to do some trades. Some want to go to universities. There's a lot of great leaders in there that can be put, into leadership roles whereby they can excel and make a difference. And pulling up these young people is very, very important. The fundraiser that I did sometime last year, I brought in a lot of young people as the guest speakers.
Right.
And this draw on that night it brought in a lot of young people to the venue, which was my
Yes.
aim, to be able to see how they can be engaged and how we can learn from them, these young people. So there's a need for us as a community to come together and provide directions for people, young people. If you want to go trade, there's a trade path. You want to get a job, there's a job path. You want to go to school, there's a school path. And that support will give us a good community.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your personal story with us today. I really think it's important for people to see the face of South Sudanese youth. You were one of those young kids who came to Australia by yourself at the age of 16. You went to school, you went to university, you created an amazing career for yourself, and now you're reaching back to your community to empower them and be the role model that the kids need to see. So I really thank you for taking the time for doing this interview with me today. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is a social impact movement. We bring you the stories and voices of people from all over the world. We share these stories to uplift you, to empower you, to energize you, to educate you about the challenges that different people experience within our communities. And as a social impact movement, we're reaching out to you as a community. If you are a leader in an organization that can create opportunities for young African youth, please reach out to us. Here's an organization that is right here in Melbourne, wanting to support the youth, but we need your support. Like you said, it is a collective effort. We can't do this on our own. We need the wider community to come on board and support us as well. So I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, if you want to reach out and find out more about this organization, please go online. You can find this organization on their website, which is southsudanesehealth.org. There's a contact form there. Reach out to us. Suggest ideas. This is a collective effort where we really want to make a massive difference for African youth in Australia. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Alec, thank you again for this interview.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.